Yeah, when it goes dark, it gets nervous.
Oh, okay. Okay, so hello first graders. Today we're going to be doing subtraction with whole numbers up to 120, because in first grade we only go up to numbers 120. And so we're going to use base 10 blocks first, and that's going to be our concrete. And then we're going to go into a number line to work out the same problem, and that's going to be our representational. And so the word problem we're going to use for these two strategies is Sarah has 118 pieces of gum. She gives Mary 42 pieces of gum. How many pieces of gum does Sarah have now? Well, since we're going to work with our base 10 blocks first, I'm going to get my flat, because this represents 100, because there's 100 units in this one flat. And then, how many tens am I going to have? Well, there's one 10 and 118, because there's a 1 in the tens place. So I'm going to use my 1 long to represent that. So far I only have 110. So I need to put 8 more units to get to 118. So how many ones do I need? Well, I need 8, because I'm already at 110. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 118. And we know that Sarah gives Mary 42 pieces of gum. So I'm not going to add any more base 10 blocks, because that's going to make my number bigger than 118. And when we subtract, it needs to be smaller than the original number we start out with. So we know that she gives her 42 pieces of gum. Can we take 2 away from 8? We can, pretty easily. So I'm going to take 2 units away. So how many ones do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write a tens place and a ones place. And I'm going to put 6 over in my ones place, because I already know that I'm going to have 6 ones. Well, next I need to take 4 tens away from 1 10. Can I do that? I can't do that. So I need to take this guy, and I need to, my 100, and I need to break that apart into more tens. How many tens are in 100? Well, there's 10 tens in 100. So I'm going to exchange this out. I'm going to exchange that out for these tens. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And notice that I didn't count this 1 10 that I already had, because that is the 10 that we already started out with. So I didn't have to use that with my 100, because then we wouldn't have the same number. So now we have 11 tens, because we added 10 more tens. So can I take 4 tens from 11 tens? I can. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I took away my 4 tens. So in all, I took away 42 units. So how many units do I have now? Well, I have, how many ones do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, this one is 6. Let's see, I think I took away 1 extra. Yeah, I think I did take away 1 extra, because I have 5. I should have 7. So now I have my 7 tens. And what is the quality of 7 tens? 7 tens actually equals 70. So I'm going to put a 7 over in my tens place here, so show that I have 7 tens. Well, 7 tens plus 6 ones is how many? It's 76. So I know already that Sarah is left with 76 pieces of gum. So now that I use my base 10 blocks, I'm going to use my number line now to do the same exact problem. So we're moving from concrete, and we're going to representation. All right, so I'm going to draw out a number line. I'm going to get a ruler so I can make sure it's all straight. All right, and I'm going to add arrows because, whoops, a number line goes forever. All right, so we know that Sarah starts out with 118 pieces of gum. So I'm going to put it on my far right side, 118 units. And we know that she gives Mary 42 pieces of gum. So I'm going to put my 42 over here to show 42 units. And something that a lot of people forget is that there are actually all these other numbers and units all in here. And a lot of people forget that. And you have to remember that after 42 comes 43, 44, and 45 units. Well, I kind of have to go back if I'm doing subtraction. And I don't know how many units are in between 42 and 118, but I know that if I jump backwards 8 units, minus 8, 118 minus 8 brings me to 110 units. And notice how I labeled my jumps. I labeled my jumps because that's going to help me show what is my difference at the end. So I don't know still from 110 units to 42 units, but I do know that if I subtract, if I jump backwards 10, I'm going to label that jump. I know that 110 minus 10 is 100. And I know that if I were to minus 10 again, I'm going to label my jump. That's going to bring me to 90 units. And then another minus 10, and I do minus 10s because it helps me just keep all the numbers in track, and that's going to help me add up all my differences later. All right, and then we'll do minus 10 again because we still have quite a bit to go. So now I'm at 70 units. If I minus 10 again, that brings me to 60 units. If I count backwards again, or if I jump 10 again backwards, that brings me to 50 units. Well, look, I'm very close from 50 units to 42 units, and if I were to jump 10 more, that would go over 42. So that's not what I need to do. But I do know that 50 minus 8 would equal to 42. So I'm going to add minus 8 here, or I'm going to label minus 8 right here. And so that shows all the units that take, oops, I forgot to label that one, that's important. I forgot to, or I labeled all of them, so that's going to help me decide my difference. So now I know, if I add all these up, what's going to be. Well, I know, I'm going to add up my 10s first, because that's going to be the easiest. So I know I start at 10, so we have 10, and then we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I counted, I got out my 60, or my 6 10s. Well, now I have these 2 8s. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16, and 16 consists of 6 1s and 1 10. I already know I have 6 10s, so when I add that 1 10 from 16, I get 7 10s. So again, I'm going to make my place value chart, and so I just said I have 7 10s, so I'm going to put a 7 here. And then I know that from that, taking 10 away from 16, I have 6 1s left. So I'm going to put my 6 right here. So my answer again is 76. And that's how you subtract on a number line, and also with these blocks.